Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in this world. I am Andrew Baker. This is Friendly Fire. My little special co-host for a little while, Piers Austin, to my left, and
What up,
below me is our guest Jason Brigdon from the Voice of Honor Facebook pages. How are you,
How's it
Jason?
going, everybody?
Good. How are you?
What's up, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Long day at work, and now I'm off for the next couple of days, so I'm just hanging out.
Oh, lovely. Anything you want to ask him, Piers, before you?
Yeah, man. So, Jason, like the first time I really saw you, man, was when you won the belt, the IWGP United States, in the Wrestling Review Society room, which you've got right there. And then you pretty much got into the promos, and you and I became a tag team for a short while, and we had a lot of fun, man. We had some back and forth, but there's stuff that I want to know, like what got you into wrestling, man? Like what was the thing that really drew you into professional wrestling?
Well, I'd say when I was about 7, my Uncle Paul, he was the one that got me into wrestling. He was always watching it. I remember walking in on him and just sitting down, and he was watching Roddy Piper. That was his favorite. So Roddy Piper was my, what got me into it. And the Royal Rumble 1990 was actually in Orlando, where I'm from. So I got to go to that when I was 8 years old. And after seeing that live, I was sucked in, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's the thing. I think everyone is like, when at a young age, when you get exposed to wrestling, you really fall in love with it. So now, what was it about getting into the promo world that really attracted you? Was the promos a thing that it was always mainly that you enjoyed about wrestling, or?
Yeah, I always liked the promos of wrestling. I've never really done promos until the tournament in the Wrestling Review Society. And, I got my ass handed to me in the first round by Mikey Bada Bing. And I just kind of kept talking to him, and he told me about the VOH, and I was a fan for a while. I didn't really do promos. I just kind of watched. And then, he told me, he's like, dude, just get in there and do it. And I've been doing it ever since, and I love it, man. I mean, that's how I became pretty good friends with you, was through VOH. I noticed that you joined the VOH one day. So when the Friendly Fire did their tag challenge, that's why I messaged you instantly, and I was like, hey, man, let's get together and try to do something.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a mixture of two worlds, man. You know what I mean? The Australian shooter and the Florida man. Two opposite ends of the universe, and it really came together. And I think we did a lot of really good stuff, though. So.
Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, Jamison. Yeah, he's killed many people in promos, bro. But yeah. So while we got a little bit of time, guys, we just to let everyone know that. Oh, hello.
She just wanted to say hi to you real quick.
Hello.
This is McKenna. This is my youngest.
Hi, McKenna.
Yeah, she's very interested in what I'm doing right now. So
how old is she?
She's 2. She'll be 3 on April 10th.
Okay, lovely. My daughter will be, she's about 3.5 now. She'll be 4 in August.
Nice.
She's having a day with Nana today, so she loves every minute of that.
Yeah, Harper, it was her birthday last Sunday. She really enjoyed you and your daughter's video. She thought that was one of her favorite ones.
Oh, lovely. Any chance Charlotte gets to get in front of the camera, she's going to be an actor or theater person something, we reckon.
That's how Harper is too. That's why I got to kind of keep her out of here. She's going to try to take over the show probably.
How did your family find when you're doing the promos and they're seeing you go from being Daddy and Jason to being Jay Briggy, the Florida man? Like, what was their first reaction when they started seeing that? Your wife, I'm sure, was like my wife, and you got her to be the camera woman a couple of times. How did your family respond to the transformation of Jay Briggy, the Florida man?
Well, Colleen, that's my wife. She's not really here a lot at nights when I do it. She's done a couple videos for me. The ones you see by the water that I do, she usually holds the camera then. But my kids, Harper, the 6-year-old, the first time she came into my room when I was doing a promo and I had my get up on and the hat and everything, and she just kind of gave me that look, and she's watched every promo with me from then on. She watches all the VOH. She loves everybody's promos. So she took to it really well. My 2-year-old McKenna, she just looks at me like I'm crazy when I'm wearing this stuff and talking all, speaking that gibberish and talking real fast.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the character and how have you evolved him over time?
I just kind of came up with him because I'm sure you guys have seen some of the crazy Florida man stories that come out. There's all kinds of people from Florida doing crazy stuff. And, being born and raised here in Florida, I figured I could play that character pretty well. I'm already pretty crazy sometimes. I was a lot crazier when I was younger, but I just kind of transformed him and, made him into this swamp guy. When I first came out, do you guys remember the wrestler in the 90s called Skinner?
Yes.
Yes.
That's where I kind of got the first inspiration for was him. And that's when I came out and talked a lot about skinning gators and wearing people's skin and stuff like that. I got it from him. And then I kind of developed into a little bit darker character for a while once I lost the Catalyst tournament in the VOH. And so I tried this little like psycho killer gimmick, and that just wasn't working out for me. It was too hard to try to keep that dark character, and I was talking real slow and trying to do a 3-minute promo.
Gimmick infringement. Australian psycho. Gimmick infringement. No, I'm kidding, brother. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was really hard to maintain. So now I kind of I do more like the backwoods character, like the Briscoe brothers from the not VOH, Ring of Honor from the ROH.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of do more of that kind of stuff now, but yeah, I've only been doing it for a month and a half, and I've developed a character through 3 different stages already. So.
Oh, lovely.
And that's the thing. I think it's you were saying, like, it's hard to sort of go into that psycho killer persona, especially when you're a family man, a dad, and stuff like that. And you've got to sort of be able to switch into that and switch back out of that. It sort of can be a little bit, it can take a lot out of you, So.
Yeah, and it was real hard. Like, I'll be doing some of the promos when I have my face painted up. My daughters come in and I'm sitting here pointing with a freaking machete, and they're scaring the crap out of them. They didn't take so well to the Relic character. They were kind of afraid of him for a minute.
Yeah.
The Florida man, that gimmick's not far off from what I do. I'm goofy naturally with the kids, so they took to that one pretty good. The scary Relic, they didn't like too much.
Well, they do say the best characters are the ones that the guy turned up to 11. So I guess that'd be the same for you, would it?
Yeah.
Pretty much. One thing I was going to ask you in the promo you did as Jay Briggy for promo for the show yesterday or whenever it was, you said something about catfish noodling. What is catfish noodling?
That is when you go catfishing, like in the swamps here or in the South, and you don't use a pole, you use your hand and you reach in, you grab them right by the mouth, and they bite you up to your arm like this. So your mouth is all the way up here, and you just pull up like 40, 50 pound catfish.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's something they do a lot in the southern states here. I've never actually personally done it. I just talk about it to help boost the character. I thought about it yesterday, but I've seen a lot of people do it. And it's pretty crazy.
Fuck me, Andrew. And they call us Australians fucking crazy.
Yeah, like some of them, like they'll bite and the people's arms are bleeding and stuff. Like, it's pretty crazy. I don't know how that became a thing, but it is down here.
Fuck, man. Well, excuse my French, but yeah, that's crazy. Jesus fucking Christ. So what about what sort of what's your favorite brand of wrestling at the moment, Jason? What are you into watching mainly?
I've been watching, I always watch WWE, but the Raw's too long now, and it just kind of draws out for me. I've been watching a lot of the AEW. I think that's a pretty good product right now. Other than that, man, the last month or so, me and my wife both got promotions at work, so I've been kind of out of the loop wrestling-wise. I've been trying to keep up here and there, but AMW and NXT are kind of what I focus on if I can sit down and watch.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, you mentioned the Briscoe brothers from Ring of Honor being a massive inspiration. I can kind of see that in the promos that you do as well. But one thing that I really like, like the Briscoe brothers, for me, they're one team that have really evolved over the years, and I think that the fact that they've never really had an opportunity in WWE, it's been a bit of a shame. Have you been a fan of the Briscoe brothers for a while, or is it just something that you've seen them on Ring of Honor and gone, that's what I want to be?
When I used to follow the Ring of Honor, I like them a lot. I mean, like you said, they've just kind of evolved, and they've always been characters that I just enjoyed watching. But I didn't really think about adding them, like doing that style of character till Patrick Chain, Chris Champion over in the VOH. He kind of messaged me one day, and he was like, "Dude, he's like, go watch some Briscoe brother promos." He's like, that's what you remind me of. And I sat down, I watched about 10 of them, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, that's perfect Florida man character.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's the Briscoe brothers, the stuff they've done. I definitely, if you haven't seen it, you should check out the promo they did years ago called, I think it'll be called Cosmetically Pleasing. And they talk about how they, like in the promo, they went to WWE for a tryout and they were told they weren't cosmetically pleasing enough. Like, basically, they weren't pretty enough. And it was like, and they're like dropping F-bombs going, do we look like we're here for an effing beauty pageant? Like, you know what I mean? Like, get the, and it was like one of the best promos I've seen, like, period. And especially from the Briscoes. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I would definitely look into that. For sure. Yeah, just like I said, I sat down and watched a bunch of them the other day. I'm surprised I didn't come across that one, but yeah, I watched them for quite some time when the kids fell asleep. So I just put it on a loop and watched about 10 or 15 of them. And, that's a pretty good style of what I'm going for. So that seems to be working for me better than the Relic character or the original Florida man that I started.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you've done really well with the character over a period of time as well, and it was such a short period of time. But yeah, look, Andrew, I'll let it go back over to you, man. Sorry for hijacking your show there, bud.
Quite all right, Piers. Any time. Now, promos. Who in the big time leagues, WWE, WCW, do you have a favorite promo from any of the guys there, past, present, or?
I mean, Macho Man, just go back and watch any of his promos, the intensity he puts out, the cream of the crop, like everything he said. I loved watching his promos. Jake the Snake, I think he was one of the most underrated. His promos were great. Everything he did was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed the Triple H promo where he came out and distinguished that he was the game when he was talking to Jim Ross and he first brought that game character to life. I love that promo. That's one of my favorite ones.
Yes, definitely. Mick Foley's always been one of my favorite promo guys in the business. He's come up with some great stuff. My favorite's probably the Kane Dewey promo from ECW.
Mick Foley's one of my top 5 just wrestlers in general.
Yeah,
promo wise, wrestling wise. I mean, that guy put so much on the line for the fans. I mean, he went through so much shit. You gotta love him if you're a wrestling fan.
Oh, definitely. He's
it's like he's the everyman's wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, he's just that lovable guy that's he's just relatable, and he always was. When I was a kid watching him, it was just like, I mean,
have 1 second, guys. What, baby? Sorry,
the joys of kids.
Yeah, I mean, my wife, she works nights, I work days, so we're never like here together. So when we try to do something like this, they just want to be involved. What are you doing, Dad? Why are you in the room? What do you, they just want to know what I got going on, basically.
Making sure you're not getting up to any mischief.
Yeah, it was funny. In the promo, one of the last promos that I sent to you, Pierce, when I talked about you having a crush on me.
Yeah.
My daughter Harper heard that. She heard me whisper it, and she went and told my wife that I had a crush on somebody and that I was going behind her back, and I had to show that it was just you, that it was a promo, and that was pretty funny. But it was, my daughter, she was like, "Dad," and she went and told my wife. So that was pretty funny.
Well, I remember when I was getting into the promos, and my son would come out I'd go outside and to cut a quick promo, and I'd be out there for half an hour to get it right. And my wife would send my son out, and then I'd hear my son go back inside going, "He's just cutting a promo, Mom. Give him a minute."
Yeah, you can usually, in most of my promos, you can hear the kids squealing in the background. McKenna just runs around yelling like a little pig sometimes, just squealing all over. So you can usually hear them in the background for sure.
Oh, absolutely, mate.
So what got you guys into wrestling and stuff? What was some big moments for you guys that made you love wrestling?
You want to go first, Piers?
Yeah, sure. So for me, it was Hulk Hogan. I grew up, I had older cousins. And I was one of the youngest. So for me, like I was like, it was early 80s. I was about 2-3 years old. And I remember seeing Hulk Hogan at, WrestleMania teaming with Mr. T. And I was only like 3 years old at the time. And I remember it vividly. And I remember seeing Hulk Hogan, just being mesmerized with him and just fell absolutely in love. And I've told this story before, but my grandmother had a photo of me when I was about like 3 or 4 years old, and I was wearing like red underwear and I was flexing, and she'd have it up in her house, and everywhere like people would come over. She's like, "Oh, this is Pierce when he was little and he thought he was Hulk Hogan. Look how small he was." And I'm like, "Yeah, oh my God, fuck off, man." But that was, to me, was it. I fell out for a while because we didn't really get much wrestling in Australia at the time, and probably around 97, just before the Attitude Era started to come in, that's when I really got back into it. And for me, it was like Mick Foley, Stone Cold Steve Austin, DX. Those were the big main ones for me. And then seeing how like the promos, and that's why I went with the Australian Shooter for a long time, is because I love those promos where you weren't too sure if there was something that was a shoot or if that was a work. And to me, that's what I always tried to do in my promos, was have it look like I'm kind of like that borderline shooting where you don't know if I'm like wanting to kill you or give you a steak dinner. So
yeah, when you first started that the Australian Psycho character, you played it pretty well. I think I sent you a couple messages. I was like, dude, I legit thought you were crazy for a few times.
Well, that's the thing. For me, it was changing it. And I think going from the Australian Shooter to the Psycho was just changing that mentality of, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it was just like looking at the losses and just stepping it up and making, like, seeing a man that's borderline on delusional just going overboard. You know what I mean? Just going crazy.
Yeah.
That was the feeling I want to take for it. But yeah. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, introduction. I don't know whether I'd been aware of Hulk Hogan or any of the guys. I probably had, but sort of too young to sort of really remember. But I do remember back in '98, one of our local free-to-air television stations one Saturday night had the '98 Survivor Series on, and there was nothing else on that interested me at the time, so I just sat there and watched the whole pay-per-view, and I was hooked. And of course, they had the late night highlight show, WF Superstars. So I would tape that every week and watch it the Monday or the Tuesday when I could. And the character of the Undertaker really hooked me, and the mentality and the villainness of the Undertaker. And I've just sort of followed it since, and followed the Undertaker's career ever since. And yeah, haven't watched a whole lot lately due to not having the pay TV stations here or anything like that. But I'm slowly getting back into it.
Nice. Yeah. Funny story about my daughter Harper. Her favorite wrestler is the Undertaker.
Good
he
taste.
He is literally the reason why she learned to walk. I was watching an old WrestleMania. I think it was 2008. And when his entrance came on, she was just learning to walk. And when those blue lights and that gong hit, she walked right over to the TV, and she's been hooked to Undertaker ever since.
Excellent. Excellent.
We're actually WrestleMania is going to be in Tampa this year, which is about 30 minutes from where I live. So we're definitely taking her because she wants to see the Undertaker. I don't know how many more chances she's going to get. So we're definitely going to go to WrestleMania this year, and she's going to be able to see her first Undertaker entrance. It's going to be pretty awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. I've been lucky enough to experience two here in Australia. The last one being the Super Showdown in Melbourne, and there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I'm going to the next WWE show in Sydney, I think. Sorry?
Do what?
I just said I plan on going to the next WWE show in Sydney, I think, when they're down here next.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of Raws, a lot of SmackDowns. I've been to 2 WrestleManias and 2 Royal Rumbles. Like I said, I've been to the 1990 Royal Rumble, and what I mainly remember of that, it was Hogan and Ultimate Warrior planting the seeds for that WrestleMania match when they met in the Rumble that year. And I remember 8 years old, just how that arena just went crazy. They just got unhinged. I'll never forget that moment. And I was also live at the WrestleMania 2008, and one of the most famous things that ever happened at WrestleMania when Shawn Michaels retired Ric Flair. I was there live for that, man. The energy was ridiculous. Like, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. That was
absolutely.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah, it was so
still to this day I watch those videos, and like, if you're a fan, you love that moment.
Yeah, it was so emotional that Shawn Michaels like, I'm sorry, I love you. Super kick.
And now with all the memes, them putting the Titanic music to it just makes it even better. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but
yeah, I've seen
probably. Yeah.
And what else did I get to see? I was at the WrestleMania where Roman Reigns beat Undertaker, and I watched him lay his hat and his gloves in the middle of the ring. That was pretty cool. I mean, it would have been meant more if he would have stayed retired, I think, but it was still a cool moment that I was there and a part of, to watch him I stayed, that lasted like 20 minutes after the last match, and we stayed. He laid his gloves down, and then he walked down the ramp and did the thing with his hand, and I'll never forget that either. That was an amazing new experience as well.
And then the next year he came back and threw that all out.
Yeah, I know he came back, and I'm like, I mean, it would have meant so much more if he would have stayed retired, but it was, it was cool.
It's that Saudi money, son.
Yep.
It heals Sting's broken neck. Sting retired, never to come back. Oh, Saudi money. Oh, okay.
Yep. It's sold.
Yeah, it's like, have you seen the tweet that CM Punk sent out to Miz?
I don't think so.
So Miz went on WWE backstage, and he sent out a tweet, and he said, "I didn't change the culture," which is kind of having a jab at CM Punk, because that's what he said when he joined WWE backstage. Then CM Punk tweeted on it saying, "Go suck a blood-covered Saudi dick. Go suck a blood-covered dick with Saudi money," or something like that. And I'm like,
wow.
We're going back to the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I mean, the Attitude Era, that was my favorite part. That's what I grew up in. I mean, it's definitely not the same as it was back then. It's totally different now. But, I mean, watching that growing up, I mean, that's really what gets you in. What's up, Kevin?
Yeah, I think the Attitude Era is really like I don't know. I think that this generation is too soft for the Attitude Era. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they hung anybody like they hung the Big Boss Man, people would go crazy. Or the big Boss Man dragging Big Show's dad's, his funeral, dragging the casket out. They try to do something like that now. It wouldn't go over well at all now.
But even then, could you imagine if like Vince McMahon had Trish Stratus crawling around a ring barking like a dog? Oh, women's rights would have a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, it would be an uproar for sure.
Yeah, it's like but I still think it'd be pretty funny to see kids going, like 6-year-olds walking around going, "Suck it."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did my fair share of that when I was growing up to just about everybody.
Yeah. I remember doing that to my dad when I was a kid and just getting the worst apple in the world. Like, I spent trouble and I was like, son, you know what, Dad? I've got 2 words for you. Suck it. He goes, yeah, I've got 1 word for you. Smash.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Andrew, what do you got? The generation is too soft, but maybe we should bring it back and toughen the kids up. Yeah, I fucking agree, man.
Yeah, that's Bojack's from VOH. I became good friends with him too. I mean, honestly, since I joined the VOH, man, it's a brotherhood there. Like I talk to a lot of I talk to you almost every day.
Yeah.
There's a handful of guys there that I talk to. If I got problems, I go to them. Vice versa. I mean, just finding the voice of honor was really cool. Kind of an outlet for me because I'm either at work or I'm always here with the girls. So to be able to have that brotherhood and be a totally different character, it's something that has been pretty cool. A big part of my life in the last month or so.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's a good outlet as well because it gives guys like us that have got families, that have got jobs, everything like that, something to do which has a little bit of fun. Like I've taken a bit of a step back from the VOH. I want Andrew to choke slam Pierce. Please, he's too slow to catch me, baby. But I've taken a bit of a step back from VOH just because with everything I've got going here with this page. But I'm a fan of it, man. I watch every interview, man. Like me and Mikey Mados, Mikey Butter being Mikey Murder. He's a good friend of mine as well. He's actually a moderator of this page. And he does, and he got me into the promo thing as well, man. Me and him met in the finals of the WRS promo tournament, and we've been friends ever since. And it's you do meet these friends and you become buddies with these people, and it's such a great community because they want to grow. Everyone wants to grow and build each other up.
Say hi.
Hello again.
It's getting bedtime, so she's getting cranky. So I might have to hold her for a second.
Oh, fair enough, mate.
Andrew has the same problem. He gets cranky, and we have to hold him for a couple of seconds.
You got to rock him a little bit, so he starts to get a little tired.
Yeah, we have to give him a bottle. Andrew, where's your bottle? Andrew, get your bottle. There you go.
Yeah. When I did the Wrestling Review Society tournament, I did it against Mikey Bada Bing, and then, like I said, he sent me messages. We said good job back and forth, and then he was trying to get me to join for a while, and I was a little nervous. I'd never done it before, and he just kept messaging me. And one day I was like, I finally did it, and man, I'm really glad I did. It's something really fun to do, something different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've told Andrew he should get into it as well because Andrew can cut a pretty mean promo, man. He's pretty good. So,
man, we could always use some more people. That's for sure.
That's it. Anyway, guys, look, I really have to run off. Jason, it's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah, man. Andrew, thanks for having me.
The pleasure is all yours to have me on your show.
Say bye.
It is.
Say bye.
Bye.
Catch you later, Piers.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Have a good night, my friend.
You too. Bye.
Get down. You want to get down? No? Okay.
Hello.
Say hi.
What's on your shirt? Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, yeah. It's a Garbage Pail Macho Man shirt.
Oh, nice. Oh, that is wonderful.
Yeah, there's a shop in the malls here. They're called Spencer's, and they have all kinds of wrestling shirts, and they had a whole line of these. I have one with The Undertaker on it. I have one that has Macho Man, Stone Cold, Andre the Giant, and the Ultimate Warrior on it. That one's my favorite, but I'm pretty sure that's in the wash right now.
I might have to track me down an Undertaker one.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have a huge wrestling collection of T-shirts. I probably have over between 50 and 75 wrestling T-shirts.
Yeah. I did have a larger collection of figures and DVDs and all sorts, but due to when Charlotte was due, we had 2 spare rooms, and we'd set one up to be her room and sort of crammed everything else in the other one, and of course had to get rid of most of the wrestling. I'm a big Star Wars fan too, so I've kept most of my Star Wars stuff and just whittled the wrestling stuff down to just the Undertaker stuff. So most of my stuff that I collect now is Undertaker, and yeah, I really need to sort through this stuff and clean it up a bit.
Yeah, I have about probably 200, maybe 300 wrestling figures. I have a display. Oh, nice. That's awesome. I have a display in the front of my house. Yeah, I love that Ninja Turtle line. I want to get a couple of those. I saw the Roddy Piper one the other day. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I have about 250, maybe 300 wrestling figures. Shoot, maybe more now. I'm not even sure.
Oh,
but I have a bunch boxed up in the closet, a few autographs.
yeah.
But I have a display right by my front door. It's a big case. Me and my daughter, we set it up every month, different themes. She loves the Undertaker, so Halloween's usually all the Undertaker stuff and all the creepy zombie line she has. But yeah, I have a ton of wrestling stuff. I got rid of a lot of it, but I still have quite a bit too.
You got a favorite piece of merchandise or anything?
I think my favorite is actually, if you give me 1 second, I'll grab it because it's right here in my closet. Give me 1 second. It's actually this. I don't know if you can see it really good or not. It's a Dusty Rhodes classic figure, but it's autographed by him. I don't know if you can see it right there.
Oh, fantastic, mate.
But I love this figure, and I got it signed right around the time that he passed. It wasn't long before that. So that's probably my favorite piece that I have right now for sure. And I have I've seen you've showed that build off.
I love that. Favorite piece, man. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Had the custom Taker symbol plates done.
That's awesome.
On the purple leather, Taker fan on the nameplate. Beautiful belt.
Beautiful, it really is.
I'm working on a second belt, which will be a custom Australian heavyweight championship, done on the classic IC plate shape.
Nice. Yeah, I look forward to seeing that for sure.
I'll be pulling the trigger on that probably middle of the year. Our tax time here is the middle of the year, so hopefully I'll be getting a bit more than last year money back. So hopefully I'll be able to get that started then. So
yeah, I'm trying to do the same thing. As our tax time is actually in the next week or so. I should be getting my money back, and I'm definitely getting another belt.
Yeah.
Because the only one that I have, the only belt that I really have is the one that I won in the Wrestling Review Society on their 1,000-member giveaway. This one that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, this is the only belt that I have, and I appreciate Kevin and Wayne for doing that. I mean, that group's awesome too. They do some amazing stuff over there, and I got really lucky and won this, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, this was originally going to be my only belt. I said to the wife, if this is the only one I get, I want it to be sort of personal to me and mean something to me, which is why I had the Taker theme done. And now that I've got it, you get the belt itch and you.
Yeah, I think we all started with I'm just going to get one, and then now everybody has a collection of something wrestling related.
I found a guy local to me that does 3D printing. So I had him do a Undertaker urn.
Oh, nice! That is super cool.
I'm going to paint it up gold, and the lid comes off. Because I had been looking at the official WWE ones, and they're like 150 something Australian dollars, and on eBay they can be even more. And this cost me $20 to get that printed. I thought, yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Nice little piece, especially if you're a huge Undertaker fan.
Definitely. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, if it's not this year, it'll be next year, hopefully.
Yeah, he's got to go pretty soon. I mean, Ric Flair went, I think, the year or the year after that he retired. So, I mean, Undertaker's been up there. He's been doing it, 25, 26 years or more now? He's been around forever.
Yeah, probably getting closer to 30 now.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's been involved in some of my favorite moments. I mean, him throwing Mankind through the Hell in a Cell and off the Hell in a Cell. I remember watching that being pretty young and thinking that Mankind was dead. Like he literally died. And then him just come rolling down the ramp on that stretcher, you know, you'll never forget stuff like that.
Which belt? Facebook user, mine or Jason's? Let us know and we'll flash them up. So how did you? What was your first? Like, how did you find these Facebook groups? By accident, or you knew someone that told you about them, or?
I was in a couple different wrestling groups, but I didn't really like any of them. It was basically just a bunch of people being disrespectful, like hating on everybody else's opinions, just causing fights. It was just a lot of drama. But there was one guy that I talked to, and he told me about the WRS. I think it was when they were trying to do their 500 member giveaway, and I joined there when there was about 300 members. And then I found you guys once I got the belt, and then Brothers of the Belt and a few others. And I just like all those pages. You know, it's not a lot of drama. Everyone's just kind of friendly. You can share your opinions. No one's giving you crap about it. So I found a lot of the groups that way. You know, and then yeah, that is a pretty belt. My daughter would love that.
The Mateen Ahmed belt.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm going to end up getting mine from. I mean, I see a lot of his stuff all over the place, and it's all amazing. So I think that might be the route that I go when I get a belt done. I'm not even sure which one I'm going to get. I mean, I love the Winged Eagle. That's always been one of my favorites, and I've seen some of his of that, and it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Damn right. Yes. Where's my questions? I had a list of questions. Here's one for you. What's your all-time favorite entrance theme music?
I'm gonna have to say Triple H, man. I mean, it's Lemmy, Motorhead. You can't really go wrong with that. And actually, when me and my wife, I call her my wife. We're not technically married yet, but we're getting married soon. When we get married, when we entered our reception, we are coming out to that song. Like we're having a wrestling themed wedding, like reception and stuff. It's going to be really cool. But I've just always loved that theme. I mean, I'm a big Motorhead fan, so just Lemmy coming out and doing those songs. And the Undertaker, I mean, that's as an entrance and theme, I've always loved his too. I mean, I've seen it a few times live, and like you said earlier, once you see that live, I mean, it's just crazy. It's amazing.
And the way they evolved the theme as his character evolved too, helped that character be, fresh and exciting every time.
Yeah, when I saw him at the 2008 WrestleMania in Orlando, it was in an outside arena. So the pyro and the fire when he came out on that stage was just crazy. Like it lit up the whole arena. It was amazing. And as soon as you hear that gong hit and those lights come on, I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, you got to get the chills and you love that moment. Yeah. Whether you're a huge Undertaker fan or not, you got to love that entrance.
Yes, I wanted to use the theme as part of our wedding when me and my wife got married, but I had the veto put on that, so I settled for, and I had to fight for it. My mother didn't want it because it wouldn't match any of the color schemes or anything like that. I had a Undertaker purple tie and handkerchief in the pocket as sort of that sort of thing, just for me, it was a nice day that day. Oh, pardon me.
What did you're a big Undertaker fan? What did you like the American Badass character, or how did you feel about that?
I mean, yes, I enjoyed it, but to call him, Undertaker, American Badass, it didn't work for me, that character. I mean, I enjoyed him. I enjoyed the matches and that, but the character as a whole, I didn't think it worked.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it either.
No. So when he came out at was it WrestleMania 20? back out against Kane as the dead man, I was ecstatic.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was a
And
much bigger fan of his Undertaker gimmick for sure.
And having Paul Bearer come back to do that was just fantastic as well. Him and Kane and that they just made those whole characters what they were.
Oh yeah, I mean when they Paul Bear, he just played that creepy, that voice he has. I mean, it just that like resonates in you when you hear it. You'll never
Definitely.
forget that. You can
Definitely,
just,
yeah.
it just like pierces, like stays in your head.
Absolutely. Hall of Fame. We were talking earlier. Who would you like to see in the Hall of Fame in the next few years?
I mean, of course I would love to see Owen Hart go in there. I mean, I know they got whatever's going on with his wife or something. That might not ever happen, but I would love to see him go in there. I'm pretty sure it's rumored, or they may have announced it. I'm not sure. I haven't kept up. That British Bulldog is supposed to be going in this year. If he doesn't, I
Heard
think
rumors
he's
about
well
that.
deserving as well.
What do you think about the Bella Twins going in? Yes or no?
I think that's a big no for me. I mean,
Yeah.
they did some things, but I was never really a huge fan of them. I never really got into the Bellas, so when I saw that announcement, I was like, I didn't really care.
I think China on her own would be top of the list before the Bella Twins.
Yeah, she would definitely have to go in there. I mean, even Miss Elizabeth's not even in there yet. I mean, she should be in there before them. I'm pretty sure she's not. I don't think she is. I could be wrong. If anyone is watching that knows that for sure, but I'm pretty sure she is not in there.
That is a shame. And yeah, there's plenty of women out there that could be in there before the Bella Twins.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I know Trish is in there already. Medusa is in there.
She just went in recent. Who else? I would like to see Demolition get in there sooner or later. I don't think they really care about getting in, but I'm surprised they're not in because they were a huge team growing up. It was funny in Orlando, where Universal Studios is. They almost on property built a WWE Hall of Fame there, and it was rumored, and they had plans for it, and then they scratched it at the last second, and I was super pissed about it. Because they would have had it was like right there with Universal, and it was going to be like a WWE Hall of Fame restaurant, and that would have been awesome.
Nice. Can't wait to see those.
They scratched it, and they put like a Willy Wonka chocolate factory style there instead.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I was super mad about it.
They need to build a physical Hall of Fame.
They really do. And they just like a few years ago when NXT started becoming big, where they filmed that is literally like 20 minutes from where I grew up. They filmed, so there's always like tons of wrestlers. Like if you go downtown drinking one night, you were always bound to run into Braun Strowman, or there was always a bunch of them out there. Paige was always out there. Enzo, Big Cass, like you were always bound to run into somebody there.
Oh, fantastic. I love Enzo. He's probably one of the better promo guys around the modern times that I've seen.
Yeah, he's got that style. It's just either you like it or it just really pisses you off, and that's what you want in a promo. You want that, bring that emotion out and stuff. And he was always pretty good at it. I mean,
it's sort of Road Dogg crossed with somebody else, but it's that sort of Road Dogg style, sort of DX, New Age Outlaws, sort of throwback style, I think.
Yeah, him just coming out and spitting all his little rhymes. You could tell a lot of that wasn't too written, I don't think. I think a lot of that was him, and you could just kind of tell that. You could see the passion in it. Him as a wrestler didn't really do much for me. I mean, it was okay, but I love watching his promo. Every time he came out, I would listen to him, and him and Big Cass doing the SAWFT thing with the whole crowd and everyone screaming it. I mean, that was pretty cool.
It sure was. I just got a message. 1 second.
No problem.
Personal business. Oh, that's right. I can reply to that later. What storyline are you enjoying? Any storylines particularly at the moment?
Like I said, I haven't watched too much recently. I know that I hated like the Lashley Lana thing they were doing. I thought that was horrible.
I think everybody did.
Yeah, I didn't really dig that. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of the AEW and NXT. I love just watching like those guys rise up, Keith Lee and Diakovac, those guys, and going against the Undisputed Era and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. The AEW, I've been loving the Chris Jericho and Moxley stuff going back and forth, and
yeah, I haven't seen any of that. We don't have any way of seeing it down here in Australia, so haven't seen a lot of that. But I do pay attention to NWA Power on YouTube. I've been watching a bit of that lately, and of course I'm following Rhea Ripley, who, if you didn't know, is from my hometown of Adelaide, South Australia.
Nice. Yeah, I love her. I love that character.
Following her, and it's great to see someone, who would have ever thought someone from my hometown would be out there making it big.
She's doing great. Like, she came and just kind of took it by storm when she did the Mae Young Classic and stuff like that, and she just kind of took off in that character. Yeah. And I love that kind of style music anyway. So when her entrance hits, I mean, man, that gets you excited.
And
she just comes out and beats people's asses. So
she's been challenged by Charlotte Flair for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm actually pretty excited about that. I've read mixed reviews about it, and people think that it's a step down, that Charlotte's going back, but it's really not, in my opinion. And it's better than seeing Charlotte fight Bayley or Sasha again.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think NXT is the top brand out of those three shows.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, they pack a lot of action into those couple hours now, and when you watch it, you just stay hooked. When I watch Raw, like, I probably watch maybe a total of like an hour of it, and the other time I'm just like going and doing other stuff because it's just a bunch of bullcrap. They're not even really wrestling much anymore.
No, most of my Raw and SmackDown at the moment is just sort of the highlight clips on YouTube. Other than that, I don't really see the point in sitting there and watching it, and not that I've got means to at the moment. But yeah, just the highlights is how I'm keeping up the track.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of those things too. Like I said, I haven't really. It's been a busy couple weeks, so I haven't watched too much wrestling. I've been watching the recap shows. We always watch the Funhouse segments, the Firefly Funhouse, because my daughter loves Bray Wyatt too. She was deathly afraid of him for the first couple months he came out. When he first showed up, and she loved Finn Balor at the time, and when he just showed up out of nowhere and that creepy music hit and he just took Balor out, it kind of scared the shit out of her for a while, and she didn't watch wrestling for a little bit. But now she loves the Fiend. She loves the new Bray Wyatt character.
What do you think of that character as a whole? You reckon it's working? You reckon it'll go get bigger?
I mean, I love it. I think it's something different. I mean, is the change in the insurance theme. I was kind of curious to see if he was going to wrestle in the mask, or if that was just something he did in the promos. So thought that was cool. I love that they're making him like the horror villain, like just do whatever you can to him, and he just gets right back up. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm hoping that when he faces Goldberg, Goldberg comes out and spears him and jackhammers him, and I just want him to stand right back up.
Yeah.
Just like no sell it.
I don't think Goldberg should win the title. I think they should keep it on Bray.
Yeah, I do too. I really hope they don't do that, but you never know. Like we were talking earlier, that Saudi Arabia money, you never know. This one, Kevin, this one right here, it's doing great, my friend, and I appreciate you, your group giving that giveaway, and I know you guys got a big giveaway coming up too, Kev, so I appreciate it. I flaunt this around all the time. Even my kids wear it. Well, at least Harper, she does for a second.
Yeah, she'd be swimming in it, wouldn't she?
Yeah, she just kind of holds it for a second, and then she's like, "Yeah, Dad, this is too heavy." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want you to drop it, so just let me have it back."
Yeah, I know Piers' kids hold his belts and that. my daughter's not really interested in it at the moment, but I had sort of getting her a little kids belt done at some point if she gets into it.
Do it.
Okay, I don't know. Hang on 1 second, baby. Just
No worries.
I don't know how to.
Okay. Don't panic.
I'm trying to do something.
Here, just turn the volume down. There you go. It's muted. I don't know.
I better be eligible, Kevin. Otherwise, I'll be coming there and smashing something across your head. No, just kidding.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the giveaway. I came out before when I won this title, and they came out and said that they were going to do that giveaway. I said unless they were giving away the big winged eagle that I love, that I would pay it forward. And if I won the 2000 member, I would let somebody else have it. Just you know, I don't know. It's kind of a cool thing they're doing, and if I were to win 2 times, I think I would pay it forward and, you know, let somebody else have a chance of winning a belt.
Yeah, good. So the winged eagle is your favorite style of belt?
Excuse me?
The winged eagle is your sort of ultimate favorite style belt?
Yeah, I've always loved that one. I've always loved that style of belt, and I've always said if I were to get a replica, you know, a real one made like that, I always wanted that one. So that'll probably be the first one I get.
Oh, pardon me.
That one and the white strapped intercontinental belt. I just always thought that was a good looking belt too.
Yeah, nice. But what did you think of the new intercontinental that they brought out?
I mean, I like the design, but that IC belt, I mean, it's just iconic. Everybody knows that belt if you've seen any wrestling. So when they kind of took it away at first, I was a little bitter, but I like the new style. It's still nice.
What do you think of the current championships with the Big W?
I'm not too big a fan of those. I mean, they do look nice, but I love way more styles of belts better than that. I did like the Daniel Bryant one they came out with, a kind of weird hemp one. I thought it was just different, and with the blue and the stones, I thought that was pretty cool looking. It was just something different they haven't done before, so I like that idea.
Yes, the scratch logo W Championship that they had for a while there. I'd like to get a version of that, but the modern straight logo, I don't like them.
No, I'm not a too big fan of that either. I like the old ones better. Oh, good, you're painted.
I think I only like the scratch one because that's the logo that I was brought up with, really.
Yeah, you know, you get your personal favorite belts that you've followed for years, and you know they just kind of sticks to you. So the winged eagle, the white strap, I've always loved those. Whatever ones I was a huge fan of. I didn't really like the spinner belts. I wasn't a big fan of those. They were just, I don't know. I guess it was a weird concept. Now that I'm a little older, I wouldn't, you know, if I could get one, I wouldn't mind having one. But as a kid, I remember I'd be like, God, those are gross. Like, I just did not like it.
But it fit the character. So I suppose that was what they were going for.
Yeah. I was watching the Ruthless Aggression. I don't know if you've seen any of that on the network that they've put out recently.
First two episodes, I think, are out at the moment.
Yeah, the one where Cena was talking about where his character was kind of falling off, and then he got into that whole rapping gimmick, and you know, they're making the spinner belts. So I see what they were doing with the character-wise too. I just didn't like them. They just didn't appeal to me, but I liked the story that they were telling with them. I mean, when you think of that belt, you know that it was John Cena's. That's the first person you think of in that character. So,
what did you think of that whole Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick?
I think that was the only time I've ever enjoyed John Cena. I'm not a big fan of him otherwise, but when he did that, I just thought that was cool. You know, coming out and doing the little raps and calling everybody out, and it just was something different at the time. I thought it was pretty unique. But other than that, I never was a fan of John Cena really.
Yeah, the fact that he was writing those freestyles was pretty cool, and I'm a little bit into poetry and writing poems, and sort of that sort of rhyme and flow of the raps appealed to me as well. So that was I was a big Cena guy at the time, and he came back. Was it last year or the year before WrestleMania?
I think it was last year.
Yeah, I was very excited at that when he came out and cut that freestyle against Elias.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when that, because I heard it. It was rumored that he was gonna be on it, but when that Thugonomics music hit, I was actually excited to see John Cena come out for the first time in a long time. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll wrap it up in a minute, but I think the last question I will ask is, who would you like to see progress in the company? Like maybe some of the mid-card, undercard guys that you think have potential that aren't being used properly?
I mean, every time I have this conversation with anyone, I always think of Cesaro. That dude is just the strength he shows and the matches he has. He's put on some great matches, and I feel like he should deserve a bigger push than he actually gets. I think he could, hold a title and have a run at one, and I would like to see that happen one day. I feel like they could do. I mean, they're starting to do more with Finn Balor and NXT, but like I was a huge fan of him coming out of NXT, and when he got on Raw, it kind of mellowed out for me, and I didn't really care too much anymore. But I think they could probably do a lot more with him as well.
Yeah. One of the guys I think should be pushed a bit harder, and at this point it looks like they are going to be pushing him a bit harder, is of course Drew McIntyre. Winning the Rumble, eliminating Brock, and of course challenging Brock. I think he should have been pushed, a year, 2 years ago. But it's good to see that he's getting a chance now.
Yeah, I mean, what a transformation he made from when he first came into WWE, and when he just came back into NXT, he was a totally different character, way bigger, like a lot more passion. I'm glad he's getting the push he finally deserves too.
Yeah, and that's the thing, he went away to some of the indies and whatever, and learnt more, evolved more, and had the chance to come back. And you hear these reports of these guys wanting to leave the company and go elsewhere, and being given huge money contracts to stay, just so they can't go to these other companies, is hurting them. It's hurting the other companies. It's pointless, really.
Yeah, one of the guys, I'm pretty sure he's been released, and I don't know, I think he signed with AEW, but I thought they could have done way more with Luke Harper too, man. That guy, he was such a workhorse, and he was, for such a big guy, he could move pretty good in the ring, and I thought they should have done a lot more with him as well than they did. They kind of dropped the ball with him.
I think he had signed with AEW, from what I can recall, I think.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah, I know you said you haven't watched much of the AEW, but they have a dark tag team. They're called the Dark Order, where they come out in mask and they're trying to take over, trying to get different people to join. And it's been rumored that he may end up being like the leader of that, or have something to do with that. And I think he would be good in that kind of role, because it's almost like the Wyatts, but like that dark kind of stuff. So I think it'd be interesting to see what he can do, if he could really flourish in a role like that.
Yes, I'll have to look into that on YouTube, see if I can find any clips of that. Well, anyway, Jason, it's been nice to talk to you. Thank you for coming on. And,
yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Have fun with the kids. Have fun with the belt.
Yeah. Hopefully they go right to sleep, because I'm ready to go to bed myself, honestly.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. We'll chat elsewhere, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Awesome, man. You have a great day. Too sweet, my friend.
Too sweet. Thank you.
Take it easy.